All right. It's an update from where we last left off with the regimen. Um, Going off of where we were on October 29th last week. Um, so we gave Kiara a dose of gabapentin, and they also told us to keep her in the room where she cannot move, cannot jump, cannot really do anything due to the bit of fluid building up between her stitches and her tissue. They said it's not anything serious. They hope that her body just absorbs it, but we'll also see if that doesn't happen, then we might have to go in there with a needle and extract it into a syringe and get rid of it that way. They don't want to do that because they don't want to risk infection, which is totally understandable. But if it doesn't go away in the next 2 weeks, then they want to do that, which I would opt for just to get that annoyance out of her. It doesn't hurt her. She doesn't feel any pain. At first, they were worried it might be hernias from her intestines poking through her sutures, but it wasn't. They said it was just fluid buildup, so we'll get rid of that, hopefully, and go from there. They told us that gabapentin is going to be essential to make sure that it goes down, because this gabapentin also has anti-anxiety in it, so she'll be mellow and chill, won't move around much, will just pretty much sleep the whole day, like cats usually do, but even more so. But then 12 p.m., she started grazing on her food. Every few hours, she'll get up and stretch before taking a few bites and then going back to bed. She's still getting both wet food and dry food. However, she eats the dry food more than the wet food. So we'll probably just move to the dry food. 5:30, Kiara's stool is healthy, but today she also had a small amount of diarrhea. And then 6 p.m., she was very sleepy and relaxed, most likely because of the gabapentin. 9:30, we gave her 3 milligrams of ivermectin. So this was on October 29th. I believe that was a Tuesday. Yeah, it was the Tuesday night. And we also gave her 4 more lysine treats. And she only ate 2, so I put the other 4 in her food bowl. So hopefully she would just eat them with her food. And then at 10 p.m., we tossed some trash for Kiara. And if you have a cat, you probably understand that trash seems to be their favorite toy. Like, you'll buy all these expensive cat toys, but then they love the shoelace for whatever reason instead of the actual toy. So, yeah, she loves trash. So we played with her with some trash for a little bit, get her moving around a little bit more, try to get it into her system a bit more. And then at 10:05, she showed very minimal signs of losing coordination. Like, every once in a while, her back feet would like stagger for a second, but she'd catch herself and move on. But we continue to monitor the rest of the night. She's excuse me. She's eating dry food and she's drinking tons of water. And we also gave her more gabapentin because there's anywhere between 8 and 12 hours. That's when they want us to get it to her. And we decided to stay up all night and monitor her for a reaction from the combination. But since they were pretty spaced out apart, we don't think we'll see anything serious. But we decided to stay up late and check on her just in case. So about 20 minutes later, she laid down in her favorite spot and tried to fall asleep. October 30th. At 5 a.m., I woke up for work and she was still sleeping in my arms. And then this morning, she showed no signs of lack of coordination whatsoever. So might have just been a small little hiccup and then back to normal, which we know, since we've seen before, is not serious, but it is a very early sign of ataxia. So we kept an eye on it. And then at 7:30, she was a lot more vocal today. My girlfriend was checking on her, and she was meowing her head off, like, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. It's been 2 hours." But she's a lot more vocal, like normal, and she's starting to sound like herself again. And then 8:45, we gave her some wet food, and she dove right in. So she wasn't eating the dry food. It could be because we put the lysine treats in there, and she could see it or sense it or smell it, and she was just like, "I don't want to touch this anymore." She has definitely started to refuse eating the lysine treats. I don't know, they must not taste very good to her after a while. of eating so many, kind of like you get sick of your favorite candy if you have an entire bag of it. So we slowed down on the lysine treats, try to get her to take more later on. So we're going to see if that helps. But if she finished her bowl, I just refilled. That would include the 8 lysine treats from the previous day, and we're hoping that she eats those. So she ate and then when I got home from work, she ate all of her work, or all of her work. She ate all of her dry food and wet food today. She immediately started eating again as soon as I refilled her bowl as well. So that includes the 8 lysine treats total. So she did eat them, and we'll get to it later on where she seems to start rejecting the dry food because of the lysine treats. But 6:30 p.m. There was more stool in her litter box than normal. From what it looks like, she may have passed a bowel 6 to 7 times in the past 18 hours. That's how much was in there. And she has 2 litter boxes. One she likes to just urinate in, and the other she likes to defecate in. And both of them had quite a bit of stool in them. So that was kind of concerning, but they were all very healthy looking. There was almost no diarrhea except for maybe 1 or 2 spots. Then at 7 p.m., we gave her some more gabapentin. And then at 9:45, she finished her dry food again. That makes for 8 lysine treats again for today. Spell checking. Yeah. So yeah, she seemed a lot more like her normal self. She was very affectionate and purring and doing her biscuits on her chests and whatnot. So it's very much like her. And then on Halloween, October 31st, at 5 a.m., she slept well, ate some more dry food overnight, and was purring loudly when I woke up. We gave her some more wet food, and she started eating it immediately. So her diet is definitely there. She definitely wants to eat, which is definitely what you want to see when it comes to cancer patients. Because when you got cancer and it's like severe, you don't want to eat anything. Nothing goes down. Nothing wants to stay down. You have no appetite. So it's great to see that she has an appetite. And then at 8:17, I got a text from the vet and Dr. So-and-so, who we're still keeping anonymous. They said they would actually ask around the other relevant practices to see if there was a safe way to administer more than the recommended amount of ivermectin to cats. And I haven't heard from her since. But we will see what they say when we go into the vet tomorrow for her checkup. 9 a.m., we gave her some more gabapentin. And then when I got home from work, Kiara seemed very active and vocal, just like this morning. She ate an entire portion of wet food and didn't eat much of the dry food. So she's starting to turn away from the dry food, probably because there's the lysine treats in there, and she's just like, I don't want those. I just want the dry food. So might move the lysine treats to a different source of food. Maybe crush it up and put it in her wet food, see if she eats it. 6:30 p.m., she takes more gabapentin. And then 6:35 p.m., she has another bowel movement. It looks very, very healthy, which is very, very comforting, because that's what we want to see. We want to see her digestive system get back to normal. So it's the best one she's had in a month since she had her surgery. So that's very promising. And then at 9:45, she finished her dry food with another 5 lysine treats in it, because she finished her wet food and had no other source of food. So she was forced to eat that, which is comforting. But again, she's starting to turn away from the dry food because of the lysine treats, I assume. She is very attentive and aware of her surroundings, she's acting a little distant, like she doesn't want to be bothered. But since we spend most of our time with her in her little secluded room, I can only assume she gets bored of us and is like, you're annoying me, please go away. So nothing crazy, like that's pretty normal among cats. All right, November 1st. She woke up in my arms again. She was very comfy. She grazed on her dry food through the night. At 8:45, we gave her some more gabapentin as instructed. 8:20, Kiara ate 2 portions of wet food, like the whole. That's a full meal for a cat, and some dry food, but not much of the dry food. So she still has her appetite. She just wants the wet food now and is turning away from the dry food. We gave her another half portion of wet food, and she instantly started eating it. It seemed like the liquid buildup in her skin between her skin and her sutures was starting to fade or shrink. hasn't like since November 1st, it hasn't shrunk. It's pretty much stayed the same, but it did seem like it was a little bit smaller than when it first started, so that's nice to see. Now this is 3 days later, and we decided to give her 2.9 milligrams of ivermectin, and I will include pictures in this video of what it looks like, and so you can see just how small it is that we're giving to her. 11:45, she starts to lick at her hips wildly, like, you know, when a cat has like a flea on their butt or near their back legs, they start licking at their back legs wildly, trying to get rid of it. Seems like there's an itch they can't scratch. So she appeared very distraught. Like I said, an itch she can't scratch, and her breathing rate increased to a faster pace than normal. So she almost like she's hyperventilating, but not hyperventilating. She's just breathing quickly. Her back legs look like they can be showing signs of tremors, which was concerning. They would just twitch every couple of seconds, but it wasn't like super shaky, they're out of control. It's just like a twitch every 5 or 6 seconds. And I think that's what she was trying to get rid of whenever she would lick her back legs or her butt. But there's no signs of ataxia. Like anytime she would get really frustrated with her back legs or her butt, she would hop up and she would like run to a separate part of the room. No signs of lack of coordination. She was completely in control. She had every foot, every placement was exactly where it should be. She seemed like she was perfectly fine. So it's weird that we were seeing signs of tremors, but no signs of ataxia. So it could have been something else that was causing this reaction. But we decided to stay up super late and monitor her throughout the night. So at midnight, so November 2nd, she was still licking at her hips, but it did calm down a little bit. At 12:15, she slowed down licking at her hips again, but her breathing also returned to a normal pace, which was very comforting. The twitching in her back legs slowed down a bit. You could still see it whenever you touched or tried to pet her back legs or the small of her back. You'd see like a little flinch every once in a while, which isn't necessarily abnormal, but it's definitely like not this frequent. It wasn't usually this frequent. But then she laid down in a comfortable position and she didn't look distraught anymore. It looked like the worst had gone. Then 12:25, the twitching was almost completely gone. She got up and shook her legs out whenever she would walk to her bowl to eat some food, which is a good sign. It's almost like when you in the morning when you get a cramp in your calf and you're just like, oh my God, I'm literally dying. And then it slowly goes away and you get up and you stretch it out and you kind of shake it out. And you're like, damn, that was painful. It was kind of like seeing her do that. And then at 12:40, she got comfy again. She groomed her legs a little bit more. It wasn't as intense, but she definitely did groom her legs a little bit more. This made me make the decision to move from doing every 3 days to every 5 days, or we might just bring the dosage down to 2 milligrams every 3 days. We're thinking we're just going to move to every 5 days or a week. That's when we will give her ivermectin, because in 7.5 days, the amount that was in her system, the prior dosage, is going to be about 12.5% of what was in her system will be left in her system. Seems like a pretty comfortable place to redose and get it back up to 100% or 112.5%. So it'd be like a bunch, but not nearly as much as what was in her system before. Then at 12:55, Kiara's walking around some more. Seems like she's feeling normal again, and she's gone back to her normal grooming spats every once in a while, because she used to lick at herself pretty wildly every once in a while, because she had an itch she couldn't scratch or maybe a flea, but still more frequent than usual. So every 5 to 10 minutes she would have her little grooming spat and then go back to being comfortable and laying down. And at 3:45, I woke up to her heaving, and she threw up. So she vomited a light brown liquid on the bed, but that's the first time we've seen her vomit since her surgery. And this is the kind of final nail in the coffin. We're going to dose down, and we're going to move to every 7 days. So that was a bit scary, but at 10 a.m., we gave her some more gabapentin, try to calm her down. That anti-anxiety probably put her nerves at ease. And then at 12:20, we finally got the vitamin D chewables in the mail. So I crushed some up and put in her dry food because she didn't want to eat it by itself. And at 10:30 p.m., she's doing quite well. She's talkative. She's playful. She's showing minimal signs of twitching. So that's a very good sign that it's starting to move through her instead of like all at once hitting her. And then at 10:55, she ate plenty of food and drank plenty of water. She didn't finish her bowl yet, so the vitamins and lysine treats are not being eaten. So that's one thing we're going to have to figure out how to get into her system again. And then 11:07 p.m., we didn't want to put any gabapentin into her that night. So we decided to give it to her in the morning. Just keep the stress levels down because she took some about 12 hours prior. And we didn't want to make it more stressful than it already has been. And then November 3rd, which I believe was yesterday, filming this on November 4th, at 7:35 a.m., we decided to get her gabapentin. She's doing quite good now. She still has little fits of aggressive grooming, but it seems far more like her normal grooming fits that she used to have. So if she had a flea or just an itch that she couldn't scratch, that's what she looked like. So it was nothing like the previous night where she was just going wild with it. And she did pass a stool, and it looked very, very healthy and normal. There was no liquid or diarrhea at all. So that's a huge plus too. And then at 10 p.m., we gave her some more gabapentin, and she didn't eat much today, so we tossed some wet food on her dry food to get her to eat, and she dove right in. But again, she didn't eat much. So her appetite is slowing down, and we're trying to get that back up. So we're just going to start giving her the wet food by itself and the dry food by itself. She doesn't want to eat the vitamins or the lysine, which is extremely frustrating because that's the stuff that ivermectin needs as an assistant to get her immune system to really fight the cancer. So that's where we're at. That's the update for today. And we're going to keep monitoring her. We're going to keep tabs on her, see how she's doing. And yeah, so tomorrow on November 5th, I will be going in to get her new checkup. And they want to see if the liquid in her, between her skin and her sutures has shrunk. And I believe it has, but not much. So we'll see what they want to do, if they want to wait another week or if they want to just drain it there. I'm also going to ask them for some more advice on whether or not ivermectin is got any kind of science of how much she can take without getting very serious side effects and how frequent they can take it. But from what I've seen so far, I think once a week at 3 milligrams at 3 milligrams per dose once a week, I think is going to be the sweet spot. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But she's definitely gaining weight back. You can definitely see in her hips she's getting some muscle and tissue that's actually growing. So she is gaining weight back. It's very comforting to see that. She's acting very normal. She seems like her normal self again. Very playful, very comforting. Loves the affection. So she's doing better. That's a huge plus that she's doing better. But we won't know for sure until after tomorrow if they tell us that she needs to have that drained, or if she just needs another week to let it absorb and go from there. I will schedule another ultrasound to get a look at what we are dealing with. I'll also ask for the previous ultrasounds, the images, the x-rays, everything that's been done to her, so I can see myself what we're dealing with, and I could share it here so you can see what we were dealing with, and then compare then to the next ultrasound and see what she's dealing with. So we'll be able to see if this is helping or if this is all in vain. And I have high hopes that it will not be in vain. She's had plenty of lysine treats. We're starting to get her to eat some vitamin D. At least we're going to try. So ivermectin has something to help assist in the recovery process. But that's where we're at for today. And I will also attach those images to the end of this video so you can see what we're dealing with. So that is that, and I will be right back. Okay, so this is the ivermectin that we've been giving to her. Yes, it is the human stuff. However, it is the only thing we could get our hands on that wasn't diluted for larger animals, and we couldn't weigh the stuff that was diluted for larger animals, where we could weigh this stuff on a small scale we bought off Amazon. So this is what it looks like. Very, very small pill. It is 12 milligrams. So this is a picture of the pill right here on the left, the package it came from on the right. And the next photo I will show you is what it looks like on the tip of my finger. It is tiny. It is so small. It is very, very small. So for humans, like I said, if you were taking a small dose, you'd be taking 4 of these, which is 4 times the normal amount you would take. But when we measure it and put it on the scale, it's broken down into quarters like this. So it's even smaller. It's tiny. So this right here is about 3 milligrams. When we throw it on the scale, if it's over 3 milligrams, we'll shave it down a little bit until it's at least 3 milligrams or less, which is why you saw one of those doses was 2.9 milligrams. But yeah, so it's tiny. And Kiara is 4 kilograms last time we weighed her. So if we're going by milligrams to kilograms, it'd be about 0.75 milligrams per kilogram, which we may switch that up down to 0.5 milligrams per kilogram, which would be 2 milligrams. So we would just continue to shave this off little by little until it reaches 2 milligrams. But we're going to go to 7 days and give her another 3 milligram dose and see how she reacts. And if that's still too much, we will go down to 2 milligrams every week. But she's doing quite well, not like super serious side effects. So it's looking good. It's looking good. This is a learning experience, which is why I'm documenting this process and showing people what I'm working with and how I'm doing it, so you can learn from my mistakes and understand, like, don't do this just right off the rip. Like, wait until we get the information we need and we can go from there, so we know how to do this safely and get the best results. And we don't know what the results are. For all we know, this is just a waste of time. But if this does work, this will be a good guide for you to figure out, okay, that's where they went wrong. We can't do that. This is what they did right. We'll do this. So that's the whole point of this.